They may call it social media, but in the professional lives of many lawyers, it's definitely not just social. Ethics, working online ethics. Facebook all of the time. I got my robes and my iPhone and an ISP. I wanna be doing it responsibly, and if I do it right, won't you tweet me, blog me, plus me? Tweet me, blog me, like me tonight. So the Law Society of Upper Canada decided it was time to do a program on the interface between professional ethics and social media. Who'd they call on to do the program? Well, me, Garry Wise, and a bunch of law bloggers. My, how times have changed. It's not that technology and lawyers is a new topic. But a funny thing happened on the way to the internet. The legal profession shed its reputation as technological dinosaurs and emerged on the cutting edge. Lawyers have been blazing the trail, leading the way among all professionals when it comes to social media and the cloud, both in terms of the sites and services we use and the many ways we use them, not to mention the sheer numbers who are doing so. And the numbers are staggering. According to a recent study by Toronto's Crosby Group Consulting, Facebook boasts between 500 and 700 million users worldwide, 16.8 million in Canada alone. 13.7% of Twitter's 200 million users worldwide are Canadian, 3.8 million Canadians are on MySpace, and YouTube has 17.6 million active Canadian users. The new kid in town, Google+, reached 50 million users in only 88 days, and according to the Crosby Group, likely has 3 million Canadian users just 1 week after opening to the general public. LinkedIn, the world's largest professional network, boasts 4 million Canadian members, and 3,200 groups for lawyers alone. According to Hubbard One, 3% of LinkedIn's members are lawyers. That's over 2,250,000 lawyers to be exact. An October 2010 article by Samantha Collier cites research indicating that 50% of American in-house counsel use LinkedIn and 60% use Facebook. 5,000 law firms have profiles on LinkedIn. 96 of the AmLaw 200 are blogging, and 43% of in-house counsel cite blogs as their leading source for news. Canada's law bloggers are an ever-growing and burgeoning community, providing legally oriented news, information, updates, and even entertainment to the general public and the profession. Put it all together, and well, for the lawyer in this technological age, social media offers an awful lot of opportunity. As a recent call, what role does social media have in your own practice development?
Social media for me is everything, especially in terms of operating a small firm or starting a firm, because it creates profile. The first thing that every single client that you get does nowadays is type your name into Google, and I'm pretty confident about that across the board. It doesn't matter what type of law you do, and what they find when they type that name into Google will color and reflect what their impressions are of that lawyer and their competency.
I think Facebook is much more so a personal sort of, it's the online incarnation of your real world relationships. Twitter is not necessarily like that at all. Right? I mean, there's tons of people that I follow that I've never met. I may never even exchange an email with them. Mm-hmm. LinkedIn, I think, just by its very nature, has that sort of more professional, more work-related cast that you're talking about. And so I think what's interesting, or one of the challenges that lawyers need to face, is how to use all three of those platforms, or all the multiplicity of platforms, in an appropriate way and in a productive way.
The type of stories that I do are fun, accessible to more people, not as legalistic. And what it does do is, if you Google me, you can find me in an instant, right? So in terms of web presence, it builds a huge web presence for me.
Of course, with opportunity comes responsibility. And that brings us back to our discussion about ethical issues. On the ethical side of things, have you personally encountered any situations that made you think about ethical questions or concerns?
Yeah, definitely. I think the two biggest, I think the biggest issue relating to ethical concerns on the blogging side tends to be client confidentiality, and sort of the fuzzy line between client confidentiality and, I guess, client relationships. So you might be sort of prompted to blog about something which isn't necessarily a breach of confidentiality in any way, but which a client just wouldn't be sort of thrilled about with your blogging about it. I can think of at least one scenario where we cleared it with a client first and just said, we're thinking about, posting on this. Do you have any concerns with it? And the client was great. They said no. They appreciated that we contacted them, but they were, completely, they didn't have any issues with us talking about that.
Every major provider, every major corporation has been hacked, it seems, in the last year or so, from the most tech savvy to not. And is this just simply a risk that we have to assume? And do we have an obligation to get our clients to consent to this kind of risk as part of the retainer process from the outset?
Yeah, absolutely. My view is when I go to the cloud, every one of my clients will be told, I'm in the cloud. That's the way it is. And you know what? I can't imagine any of them will say no.
One of the main issues that we face right now in Ontario is the issue of civility. It's the reason why we have the Law Society coming out with so many messages and panels and conferences about the issue of civility between legal counsel. And this is not an issue that I guess is constrained or restrained to face-to-face interactions. It does extend, unfortunately, to the online domain as well. And we do see people acting what I would consider inappropriately towards each other.
What I find interesting on Twitter is that people don't necessarily remember that they're a lawyer or that they should act in a civil manner. And so you get very strange tweets, or you get very strange comments to people's blogs that I think the next day people think about, oh my God, did I really write that? Because now it's there forever. And now I look like a jerk forever.
To me, it's all, at the end of the day, about common sense. If you wouldn't do it offline, don't do it online. Just remember that the online world is a digital megaphone where anything that we write and say lasts forever and can spread viral. It's not the Wild West anymore. It might not be the Wild West anymore, but looking at current developments, you'd be forgiven for not knowing it. Hacking, privacy breaches, security concerns in the cloud, confidentiality forgotten, misbehaving lawyers, and even the occasional misbehaving judge. Well, all of this has our regulators and our professional associations looking. But truth be told, perhaps in some cases anyhow, they're figuring it out in real time, along with the rest of us. So there you have it. Really, it's simple. Start with a website, build a blog, get on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, maybe some content on YouTube. Add Google+. It's not a big fuss. Do it ethically. Carry on with the very best traditions of the legal profession, and live responsibly in the age of technology. Ethics. Working online ethics. Facebook all of the time. I got my robes and my iPhone and an ISP. I wanna be doing it responsibly, and if I do it right, won't you tweet me, blog me, plus me? Tweet me, blog me, like me tonight.